right? Without you, kind of the company would not be where it is today, right? Kind of, and should be grateful for it, right? But in order to bring the company to the next level of growth, right? The more you can scale yourself, right, with people that are 10 times better.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
So now I have to grow more and become more efficient and start to exactly to and then I have my this ego issue there. So again, what you said, company going good, money's coming in, but it's so much stress, so much tension, everybody there is friction because I am the friction. I'm making the whole company about myself,
Right.
everybody.
Yes.
Because
Right.
that's how I was doing at the beginning, because at the beginning it was only on my own. I need to work well. So if I
Right.
when I grow, I don't trust anybody. I know that my judgment can make this work. But Frank, the truth is that we had to change. We had
Right.
to unlearn every step. The most you increase our sales, we had to forget about what we learned from 0 to 500,000 and then learn something new because we had to
And
kind of become a
and
different person.
here,
And it's so difficult.
right. And here, most of the entrepreneurs, when they go to the stage, what you just described, right? In the beginning, it was easy. We were just kind of whatever. We were sitting on one table, and then whoever had an idea, and then the more you grow, right, the harder it gets, and the more initiatives and projects and whatever are going on at the moment, the harder it is to make decisions and to execute on it. So here,
But then,
most
Frank, you have to change
entrepreneurs,
as a person. You also have to change as a person. At the
right,
beginning, for example,
and I
you
would my
design a product.
recommendation.
Yeah, at the
My,
beginning,
my
you design a.
recommendation,
Okay, go ahead.
my recommendation is not to overcomplicate it. Hundreds and thousands of entrepreneurs before you had been in the exactly same situation. 10,000, 100,000 of entrepreneurs that were scaling from very small to kind of the first one or the second, or the first plateau or the second plateau, right? Had to come up with leadership, with structure, with leadership teams, with processes, with core values, with alignment, with long-term, all this. For this, systems exists. Don't try to reinvent. Don't go into a therapy for 5 years. You don't have the time. Simply copy paste the systems out there. No one today would invent a new sales system for their direct sales force. No one would invent a new engineering system for their software developers. These systems are well proven with thousands of companies or 10,000 of companies. And the same is for founder CEOs, right? For entrepreneurs, use inner leadership systems like Life Pilot. There are multiple of this. And for companies, use scaling up, EOS, Bloom, and others. Just follow the script and you will see it so much. Maybe take an external facilitator in order to introduce the system if this is helpful, if you can't do it by yourself, right? Which is sometimes really helpful, but don't reinvent the wheel. You focus all your energy on the innovation, on the market, on the great product you develop, on the services you develop, on your customers, but not on how to run a company and how to do leadership.
So, Frank, in the first company, the e-commerce company that was from 1,100 employees in 3 years, compared with the second company, which was the food delivery company that also you took to IPO. It was completely different journey, right? Both company grew, both company went to IPO, both company did well, but the second time was completely different because you knew what you were getting into and you knew what kind of person you had to be at this stage of the company.
Right.
Whether in the first one, it took you by surprise that the same person that started the company, he had to be a different person when I write 500,000. He had to be a different person when I write the first million. He had to be a different person when I write 3 million. A different person when he said 3 million, right? And you on the first time, you have to discover what type of person you have to become as the company scale. And you're doing this by trial and error because very little people talk about this topic. And the reason for us is that very little people have done it until so many stages. Usually, what happened, and in this podcast, there are people that they are good only from 0 to 1 million. That's it. There are other people that they are good 1 million to 3 million, or 1 to 10. There are other people 10 to 100 million. There are even people in this podcast that they are only good from 100 million to 1 billion. That's the only thing they do. If you give them a statue, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do with that, right? So very few people have gone to the process, Frank, that you have been through, to the different stages of the IPO. And it's hard because you have to change yourself as you grow. And difficult. So where do you find the information? Where do you find it? Was like me, but trial and error, thinking about survival. Do you read any book? How
My
you
first kind
realize
of
that you have to unlearn and learn? Because I did this by accident also, that I had to unlearn the things that I did before when the company is small. I cannot do exactly the same thing with the companies is bigger because there are more elements in place, people, employees, teams, training, system, whatever. So how you find out all this?
So kind of first, it was never so easy to get all this information as it is today, right? Kind of the internet is full of it. There are tons of books, there are tons of whatever, YouTube or, there's really enough. So for me, it works the way that I kind of, as we grow as a company, my personal growth is much than the growth around me. And the more I'm the bottleneck, the more I'm the slowdowner for the further growth of the entire organization, right? So I was forced to do something. So the first thing I had to learn that, being the leader in the room, no one expects for me to be the expert, right? And many others believe that they have to know it better, they have to know the market better, the product, the services, the technology, whatever, right? So I stopped to force myself to be the expert in the room, right? Second is I learned that leadership is serving. So I have to serve the people reporting to me that they are more successful with my mentoring or with my leadership than it would be ever possible without me. How many reporting to us are successful all through their report to us, right? And yeah, rather in their way than that we multiply their potential, right? So I had to learn that kind of I have to become a good leader, right? And over the years, I realized that my value contribution to the company is much bigger if I work on the company than I work in the company. Kind of if I look at long-term strategy, if I look at key relationships, if I look at whatever market dynamics, right? So that means the companies, I still run 3 companies, but I have CEOs on these companies, right? From day one, I have CEOs on these companies, right? So that I can work on these companies and not in the companies, since these are much better in operational excellence than I will ever be, right? But I'm really good in seeing the big picture. And if you realize kind of if your ego is strong enough that you realize, well, I'm really good in certain things. And I'm not so good in the things I usually also hate to do, whatever. Usually it's administration or finance or operations, processes, kind of all. If all the things I procrastinate anyway, right? I'm usually not good at this, right? Find resources who are 10 times better on this than you will ever be, right? And focus what you're really good at and manage your own ego and reduce your role to where it has the highest contribution to the company. Develop the leadership skills of leaders, leading leaders, which are different leadership skills than leaders leading employees, right? So that means you leverage yourself. This also ends up that you do the stuff that you love to do, right? Which means you get more energy out of it. Everyone is enjoying what you do since you bring a lot of value, right? And so what if everyone is aligned, the company is growing like hell, right? And the company is growing like hell, the less you have your feet in the door, right? And then you have your hands in everything. And this I had to learn the hard way, right? Since
Me
I had
too.
to, right? So I got feedback that I'm the bottleneck. I got feedback that I'm, whatever, everything is depending on me, no
My team
major
was telling
decision.
me, Frank, Harry, the only problem in this company is you.
Right,
And I'm
right.
thinking,
And
after I found the company, after I brought all of you here, after all of you making a lot of money, and I am the problem of this company.
yeah, I mean,
That's
that's
what
potentially not
my
the right
thing.
wording, right? Without you, kind of the company would not be where it is today, right? Kind of, and should be grateful for it, right? But in order to bring the company to the next level of growth, right? The more you can scale yourself, right, with people that are 10 times better than you are in sales and engineering and product and consulting and, in operations, HR, and all these, what you need.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.